Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. This video's out of nowhere. This was not planned. This just kind of fell into my lap. So this is 2 times in a row on dog hair. 2 times in a row on Marketplace. I've gotten lucky back to back. Never happens. I gotta go play the lottery. So we got the Monte Carlo for $800, and now we have the Cudas next engine, which I've been trying to get my hands on. You remember I went and got the 6.0 out of that kid's backyard in the ditch, and you know, remember the whole video on that? Well, this time I got a 6.0, but it wasn't in the ditch. It was actually in the garage, and it's here. So let's go over it. I've been wanting. I mean, ever since I swapped the Cuda, it's always been in my head, and just been telling the investor that if that 4.8 goes out, I'm not putting another 4.8 or a 5.3 in it. The only engine I want to put in it is a cammed 6.0. And here we have our LQ4 with the 4L80. Crazy. And what I mean by crazy is, in Texas, prices for this right here is ridiculous. But the other crazy thing is they've always been ridiculous. So 6.0s, since I got into LS stuff in 2013, 2012, 6.0s have always been expensive. They've always, like, if you want one complete, they've always been a minimum of $1,000. Now they're a minimum of like $1,500 if they're complete, and that's just the engine. I know in the northern states you get them way cheaper, but in Texas prices are stupid. Even 4.8s and 5.3s are getting out of hand. So this combination, if I was to have gotten it from anybody else, or say I wanted to spend the money that 99% of people ask for it, it would have been $2,000 to $2,500. I actually sold / traded a whole 6.0 with a 4L80 a couple years ago. If you go to my Instagram, you scroll way down, there's a rusted out 71.2 Camaro I traded this setup for, and then I ended up selling that Camaro for $2,500. But that just lets you know that everybody wants these. The 4L80s, I don't care for them like the internet does. The internet, if you're new, the internet will try to make you believe that the 4L80 is like the best transmission ever. Sure, they're great, but in swaps, they're a pain because they're a bigger case than the 4L60s. So in cars that I swap, I gotta tickle the trans tunnel, or you gotta cut it out, or vice versa. There are some cars, of course, especially like the big body cars, where a 4L80 fits with no issue. But I usually tend to swap smallerish cars. Plus the 4L80E, you can use the cheap harness on them, but there's an adapter you got to buy, and you got to swap 2 pins in the ECU, and it's a little bit more complicated, and I just don't care. I love 4L60, so 4L60, 4L65, and a 4L75. For me personally, just my personal stuff, and if I'm spending my money on swaps, that's what I care to use. 4L80, I'll leave it to those dudes that are doing the high horsepower stuff, build it, blah blah blah. Just not my thing. Maybe if I was doing a truck, yeah, but since this is going to be going in a car, I really don't have a use for that 4L80, unless somehow I get my hands on a big body girl that I want to build, then maybe. But I'm gonna post the 4L80 for sale, and I'm sure that'll be long gone by the time I get another project vehicle I want. It's obviously already been torn down. He pulled the heads. He pulled one side of the lifters, didn't pull these. Pulled the cam. Cam bearing's perfectly fine. The lifters were fine. The cam was toast though. It was really bad. So he said he heard it run, and he said it didn't have lifter tap. But judging by the cam, I'll take his word for it. But my diagnosing skills are pretty good, so we'll just say I'm gonna say that bad boy probably had lifter tap. But it doesn't matter, because I might put a aftermarket cam in this. That was, I mean, it's kind of the whole reason I wanted 6.0. They're the best ones to build for naturally aspirated, and that's all I care to do. Turbos and supercharged and stuff, just out of my price range and league pay grade. So maybe a sloppy stage 2 cam, probably a Scoggin Dickey cam. I mention those all the time in the Facebook groups. If you haven't, go to check out Scoggin Dickey truck cam shootout and watch that video. It's a very good video, and it'll probably change your mind on a cam you want to do. I actually put one in an LQ9, the OBS swap I did 2 years ago. I put a Scoggin Dickey Power Max Plus cam in the LQ9, bone stock, everything else, just cam swap. And the guy said he got it dyno tuned, and it made like 475 to the rear tire. That's kind of, that's a lot for just a cam swap. So I wonder if that was just at the crank, but I don't know. That's what he said. So yeah, and this one doesn't have any cracks in it, so we won't be flipping off this 6.0. But yeah, it's an LQ4. Obviously, it's got dish pistons. It's a 6.0. It's an iron block. If it's an iron block, it's a 6.0, and it has dished pistons. Oh, I'm so acoustic. Dished pistons. It's an LQ4. Your LQ9, the only difference, they came with flat tops. I believe this is 9.5 to 1 compression, and the LQ9 is 10 to 1 compression. But Google fact checked me, because I'm just going off the top of the dome. These are great engines to build. I always talk about how these engines are great. If you can get your hands on a Gen 3 or Gen 4 6.0, that is what you want to build, unless you just want to throw all the boost at it, and then by all means go get you a 4.8 or 5.3 or 6.0. You can boost them too, doesn't matter. But I need to get this out. I realized when I was putting the plate on, that we put this engine transmission in here at his house with no bolts in the bell housing to holding it to the block. So hopefully we didn't mess up any snout or input shaft with all the weight hanging on it, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, I got it 100% complete. I got accessory brackets, coil packs, and it's a drive-by cable intake, but we'll go over that in a second. But let me get this out, find somewhere to put it, and put it on the engine stand, and just clog up the garage more than I already have. Awesome. sneaky devil. Cannot get the transmission off. Anthony. That's so. What did we learn in class today? 4L80s have 6 torque converter bolts. Where did the sun go? Oh, it went to bed because it's been an hour and a half later. And one bolt. One bolt. This is ridiculous. So I was like, might as well just drain the oil. Oh, look at there. Let's smash it while we're at it. This has been ridiculous. One bolt. One bolt. And I still can't get to it. Oh, is it out? Come on. Oh my goodness. And I smashed my, oh, we're good. One bolt. I'm gonna get this bolt out and then I'm leaving all this here and I'm going inside before I just start hitting everything with the tickle stick because it's close. I got it. I've been using it. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, next day, obviously. The fact that this video is going on 2 days is absolutely ridiculous. All because of one torque converter bolt, which you saw yesterday. So you just saw me welding, and that's because I was trying to makeshift Something else. Wonder if I can find all the other pieces. So when if you ever see my video, if you ever come into a video and you're watching and you just see different stuff laying around, you just see this going on basically. Just know it has not been a fun day or time. Oh, there we go. I think it's stuck in there. But so first, let's lay them down here. So this is the torque converter bolt, and of course it's a 6-point inside. I'm going blank on the name. I'm acoustic, remember. And it was stripped out. Well, it was stripped just enough that I couldn't get a regular Allen head in it. Allen head socket, not the typical Allen head. And so I was like, okay, I'll just weld this inside of there like that, and then use the bolt as something to turn on. Well, of course, because the bolt is in here, it was too close to the engine right here for me to weld all the way around. So, and then obviously I didn't get any weld in the actual hole. I really just kind of got it mostly on the bolt and the very outside of this. And so I was like, okay, I'll just try to weld a nut to it. After I tried to weld another bolt, it was actually, oh, I think it fell in there. It's actually an exhaust manifold bolt. I tried to weld into a nut and the whole thing just broke off. And then I think between those two, me trying to loosen it with those two welded on, I think it might have just barely broke it loose enough to where I finally got the vice grips on it and was able to turn it out. Just turn. So now I got this mess I need to clean up, and then we can continue something that should have been done. This video should have been like 20-ish minutes long. But I'm gonna clean up this mess. I'm gonna post the 4L80 for sale. He said it was a good runner. I don't see why it wouldn't be. 4L80s are kind of typically reversed is really the only issue that ever comes with those, or the torque converters issues. But I'm gonna clean all this up and then we'll come back and chit chat. All right, clean enough. I'm gonna hit it with the water hose, dilute it a little bit. You ever had people complain that a garage floor looks like this? Like, bro, sorry, I actually work on my vehicles. Okay, anyways, it's hot. I'm ready to fight. So I just thought of that. But anyways, LQ4. So, oh boy, let's get that out of there. Surprise. So LQ4, what did we say yesterday? Dish pistons, Gen 3 iron block. So in your vans, so you would assume that if the engine has a 4L80 bolted to it, that it's a 6.0. Correct, until you get to the vans. The Chevy vans of the 2000s is like the weirdest accumulation, combination of things, because they came with a 4.8 with a 4L80. That is the only vehicles of the Gen 3 LS based engines that would have had a 5.3 4.8 and a 4L80. Any other one with a 5.3 4.8 would have had a 4L60 4L65E. Yeah, those two. So your early all your Escalades, if they're a 6.0, they're an LQ9. Most of them are 5.3s, but there are the rare few where it's a LQ9, and they'll have the engine cover that says Vortec Max, and those will have a 4L65E. Just like the GTOs, the 0406 GTOs with the LS2s, they have the 4L65E. But your trucks and SUVs, With the 5.3 and the 4.8, they just had the 4L60s. Gen 3 LQ4 began late 1999. They're different 99 and 2000 than they are 2001, 2007. The crank is just a tad bit longer, 99 to 2000. And 99 to 2000 had iron heads. So if you see a 6.0, a Gen 3 iron block 6.0, and it doesn't have a 317 casting here, there, both heads, 317, then it is an iron head engine, or iron head, and they are iron heads, which you can kind of really just look at and tell the difference. 2001 is when they started the aluminum heads. Late 99, where is it? Late 99 to 2002 had drive-by cable. This is a drive-by cable. This is an 01, which I mentioned yesterday on the transmission. It tells you that 1 means it's a 2001 model. He said that was original, and I could tell by the trans fluid it's original to the engine. So this tells me it's a 2001, which also, I didn't take the manifolds. He had them, but I didn't take them. But it had EGR manifolds. So that also lets you know that it's a 99 to 02, as they had EGR. 03 to 07 is drive-by-wire. That's what I meant to say. They started this late 1999, and it ended very early 2007, which would be considered Silverado Classic. So that was before they went to the 08 and the new body style and DOD AFM. But there are some weird years, 05, 06, 07, Gen 3 vehicles that have DOD or AFM. It's like I said, it's confusing. They get a little bit more confusing in the mid 2000s. These are the ones I like to mess with, is 01, 02, because head bolts from 99 to 02, head bolts are different than 03 and up. It's confusing. This is why I try to be as basic and simple as I can on this channel for beginners, because it could easily just get you think you're getting it. And then I'm like, no, wait, 02 is different than 03. You're like, but 99 to 07 is all the same. It should be. But they did mix and match some things here and there. Also, another way to tell if it's pre-03 is it'll have a returnless fuel system. So it won't have this bottom. It'll just look like that. But since this has a return, that also tells you it's 99 to 02. Another way to tell your harness is 9902 is the red and blue PCM plugs, except for those vans. Those vans are drive-by-wire, and they have, even if they're 0102, they're drive-by-wire, and they have green-blue. See what I'm saying? It just gets confusing, and I try to keep it as basic as possible. Another way to tell on the harness, which is probably easier for me to tell than somebody new because I know where to look, is right here. So you got your alternator, you got your TPS, and you got your IEC. Only drive-by cable throttle bodies have that. Drive-by-wire does not. So there you go. I believe that is it. Yeah, so if I need the Camaro to sell, like now, I dropped the price to $7,500. That it. I know I'm trying to sell it, but I'm not trying to be a salesman and sell it. $7,500 for a running driving 79 Camaro. Does have rust, but it's complete. I mean, that's a deal. There is a car in Louisiana I want so badly, so badly, but I already know if I don't sell our Yukon or the Camaro within like the next week or two, it's gonna be gone. Oh, I want it so bad. It's so cool. I also still have stickers, so stickers are on the website. No, I don't think I have any shirts left. I don't know. We'll get to shirts when I have $400 to spend up front. Even though I just bought a LQ4. Well, the investor bought. We split it. We bought the LQ4. Oh, so I paid $1,100. I think I said that yesterday. Yeah, I said that yesterday because I mentioned how expensive this setup typically is. which the cheapest setup I found on Marketplace yesterday when I was roaming for the same exact setup was $1,800. So I'm gonna sell that bad boy, get some money back, because I have no use for a 480E. I explained yesterday why. Oh, I was gonna go over this a little bit. So yeah, this one is, I mean, he said it was low mileage, but 9 times out of 10, anything you get on Marketplace is at least 200,000 miles. But even y'all should know by now that I do not care about the mileage. It turns over perfectly. There's no issue in any cylinder, not even the slightest bit of scuffing or pitting or anything. Has very slight ring ridge, but that is it. Oh, we got a little bit of that right there. You see it? There you go. A little bit of that, but it's still nice and flat. I can't catch anything with my fingernail. So if I absolutely wanted to, I could just put a stock cam back in this. I could do this in a day if I wanted to. I could take the 4.8 out, put the 6.0 in, and have a stock 6.0 and 4.8 in the spot of the 4.8. But no issues with it. And until this 4.8 gives me issues, I'm not going to touch it. Because I just drive it. I'm not trying to race. And I do want to cam this, so I need to find me a tuner around town, which I have 2 in mind that could tune it. Or I need to get into tuning, which I might attempt it with this, but we'll see. But either way, go buy the Camaro. Somebody, come on now, help a brother out. Stickers available. Appreciate you watching. I think the brakes on the Camaro is next, or finishing painting the Monte Carlo. I don't know. You'll see. I see. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.